Assalamu alaikum. This vlog is first of the series that I'm going to upload on critical approaches to literary criticism, and this one is about new criticism. So I'm just going to simplify all these critical approaches for the undergrad students. So what is new criticism? Let's discuss. New criticism is a movement in 20th century literary criticism that arose in reaction to those traditional extensing approaches that saw a text as making a moral or philosophical statement or as an outcome of social, economic, political, historical, or biographical phenomena. So to sum up, I mean, it is against historicism. I mean, you have to not take into the historical and political context is not that much important. So the text itself is important. From the 1930s to the 1960s in the United States, new criticism was the accepted approach to literary study and criticism in scholarly journals and in college and university English departments. Important new critics included Alan Tate, Robert Penn Warren, John Crow, Ransom, Clarence Brooks, William Ampson, and F.R. Lewis. So what are the basic assumptions of new criticism? New criticism assumes that a text is an isolated entity that can be understood through the tools and techniques of close reading. So most important thing is close reading and importance and focus on the use of the figurative language. New criticism maintains that each text has unique texture, and it asserts that what a text says and how it says it are inseparable. In sum, the objective of new criticism is to unify the text, or rather to recognize the inherent but obscure unity therein, that both form and content are important, and meaning lies definitely in the text itself and not outside of it. So what is the method when it comes to the application of this theory to literary criticism? So what are the critics required to do? How should we approach the text if we are using this method? New critics believed the structure and meaning of the text were intimately connected and should not be analyzed separately. In order to bring the focus of literary studies back to the analysis of the text, they aim to exclude the reader's response, the author's intention, historical and cultural context, and moralistic bias from the analysis. So for that, you have just to focus on the text and its structure and its the use of the language and all that. And you don't need to take into account the biographical elements and other historical events in the context of the text production. So simply put, close reading is the hallmark of new criticism. Like formalist critics, new critics focus their attention on the variety and degree of certain literary devices, especially metaphor, irony, tension, and paradox. Among the lasting legacies of new criticism is the conviction that surface reading of literature is insufficient. New criticism gave discipline and depth to literary scholarship through emphasis on the text and a close reading thereof. So again, to sum up, close reading is basically the main focus of, or the main tool of new literary criticism. But there are definitely certain limitations to the application of this method to literary criticism. So what are those limitations? The analytic and interpretive moves made in the practice of new criticism tend to be most effective in lyric and complex intellectual poetry. While you see that for the novel, for the short story, I mean, maybe this method is not that much, you see that much efficient. So, and moreover, the exclusion of writer, reader, and context from scholarly inquiry has made new criticism vulnerable to serious objections. Because, of course, how can you look at a text divorced from its social political context, while you see the writer is somehow reflecting, on or responding to those events that are taking place around him or her. So these are the references. Especially, I would like you to visit the site britannica.com, where you can actually find the detailed information on new criticism, but that is how actually I've simplified it for you. So the conclusion is, although the new criticism is no longer a dominant theoretical model, in American universities, some of its methods like close reading are still fundamental tools of literary criticism, underpinning a number of subsequent theoretic approaches to literature, including post-structuralism, deconstruction theory, and reader response theory. So thank you very much. Looking forward to your comments. God bless you all.